Hello everyone. It's been probably at least a year since I did my craft room tour video, and I have revamped a few things since then. So some things that you see, if you did watch the other video, some of them are going to be familiar and some will be new. I'm constantly changing how I organize stuff to see what works better. And throughout the video, if you see any spots that are any good ideas for me, please leave it in the comments below. It might give me some new ideas for how to organize stuff. So this is when you were first walking into the room. This is kind of an overview of the room. It's a okay size room. I don't know the exact square footage. I want to say it might be like a 14 by 14 or something. It's kind of square. But I'll start here at the beginning. When you first walk in, I have some pegboard up with some things, as you can see, with clearance stickers from work, because of course I buy a lot. So, but behind the door, something I've added that I don't think was in my old video. I got these over the door. This is actually a boot organizer or something, because you know we have the over the door shoe organizers. This one's for bigger, like tennis shoes or boots or something. So you will see in this video that there are certain companies I do buy a lot of stuff from compared to others. Those are Queen & Company, Crazy Creations, and I do have a decent amount of the Mosaic Moments products. But this thing has been really great for my Queen & Company foam refills, because since I don't have a huge room, I have to try to use my wall space. As you can kind of see around here, I've gone up with a lot of stuff. You know, I'm going on the walls just to give myself some more room. So this thing has been great. So even if you don't use Queen & Company stuff, this is a great way to store something that it's out of the way. I mean, my door doesn't completely open all the way, but it's open quite a bit. It's open 3/4 of the way at least. So yeah, up here I just have some of my extras. Some of the Sizzix storage envelopes. I always have a bunch of those on hand because I store my queen dies in, which you'll see. But just some random stuff. We had clearance these things out at work, I don't know, maybe a year ago for wooden stamp blocks, and I really liked them. They had 2, so I got 2, but that got some of them out of the way. So then coming over here to my closet, I have one of the regular over-the-door shoe holder things. And it only holds the few punches I have left, which isn't a lot because I don't use a lot of punches anymore. I just kept the ones I really liked. And the rest of my Queen & Company foam refills. And actually I take that back. There's one other spot that I've got fall and Christmas ones. So yeah, I'm a bit out of control here. The goal is obviously to use them up, but that'll take a while. So, and then these are some extra, what they call toppings, which are all the little shaker bits that go inside the shaker. So these are like extras of some of the main ones that I use. I feel like I've utilized the space in my closet pretty well. I have used almost every inch of it that I can use. So I have this, let me see if I can lift it out of the way here. It's kind of heavy. These rolling carts, which I love. One's bigger than the other. I started buying these off of scrapbook.com. It's these 6x6 paper organizers. And again, this has a lot of my Queen & Company paper, but you can put anybody's paper in it, obviously. But it's got the tabs. And what I really like about it is when you have a 6x6 pad and you have all those little pieces that you just try to tuck into the pad, but then when you lift up the pad, it all falls out. This solves that problem. So basically, all my scraps go in the envelope tab right before the actual paper starts. So that is the thing I loved about it. When I was looking for 6x6 paper pad storage, that is what I was looking for, is a way to store the scraps as well. The downside to these is they do take up space, but I mean 6x6 paper pads take up space anyway, so what do you do? But at the bottom, I have the rest of them kind of just stored, like, just, you know, one after the other. So yeah, this thing is pretty full. I literally have no more room to put any more paper pads on here, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do. Up here I have just some solid 6x6 paper, and then this one has pattern, either 6x6 or 4x6. Again, you're going to see a lot of Hobby Lobby clearance stickers because that's what I do. I work and I shop. So yeah, and then this shelf has albums. These are albums that I've already completed, or there's one I'm in the middle of, which is my main scrapbook, which I'm hoping to actually work on a little bit today. Some diamond dots that I've got on clearance, and I have no idea when I'm going to put them together. I've done a couple diamond dots and I really like them, but I do a lot of card making and I try to do some scrapbooking. I actually haven't done any scrapbooking for about a year, which makes me very sad. So that's why I'm going back to doing some of that and taking a break from card making. Just up top, I have some random stuff. You know, Christmas cards are in those 2 Christmassy boxes. Then I have stuff up here. This stuff right here is for my main scrapbook. Once I get that stuff finished, I will be able to clear up that space. These are my birthday. So I've got birthday paper, more paper. I think there's some embellishments, but I have the embellishments somewhere else. And then just some extras you can kind of see. I bought a bunch of these mesh bags off of Amazon. And honestly, I'm only using like 2 of them. I thought about selling the rest, but then I figured I might want them when I do that, so I haven't yet. This little rolling cart has my Christmas paper pad. So this one is just Christmas. So it's got a little bit of room because I cleared some of it out recently for a yard sale. This is a lot of my toppings or shaker bits, whatever you want to call them. It's out of control, I know. Don't laugh. But yeah, I mean, I've got every theme that you could think of. Fruit, food, cat and dog, Disney, Valentine's, Easter, Christmas, obviously, Halloween. I mean, I have it all. But again, I use Queen & Company stuff a lot, so I have their little bottles. These little stadium organizers, we did sell at work, but we don't anymore. I got one at regular price at 35 bucks. And actually, I may have gotten that when we still had coupons a few years ago, and I may have gotten 40% off of it. But the other 2 were clearanced out, and I got those for like 8 bucks. So we no longer sell those, but you still may be able to find something like that online somewhere. And I know Amazon sells like the, what are they? The nail polish stadiums, like I guess that nail salons might use. So you can probably find something like this if you like this thing. My husband actually put these little shelves up for me. Those I did get at work recently during this first quarter. We have spring, so they're with the spring stuff if you can still find any. Those little skinny shelves. I like them because they're not too thick. They kind of just hold my little bottles. But yeah, this is all toppings until you get down to the bottom. This is kind of where I keep my Mosaic Moments, guys. I got these binders from work, and we do still have these. They're called stamp organizers or something, but they come with a few of these pages, and then you can buy extra pages. And I basically just buy magnetic vent covers and trim them down to what I need, and then I put them in these pages. So yeah, I mean, if you've never tried the Mosaic Moment system and you like the scrapbook, it's very interesting. I never thought I would do it because I thought it was all just squares and stuff, but it turns out there's a lot of really cool patterns, and your pages can all look different, and you can fit a ton of pictures on one page. And this is the rest of my Mosaic Moments dies. So this is another way I've stored things. Again, I change it over the years because I find something that works better for me. Usually it's something because I've bought too much stuff and I need to find another way to store it. And then I have this Sizzix. Trying to get it open here. These Sizzix, you can buy the pages, but these have kind of like my background dies, like the full. There's a few other like full-size cards or background dies, stuff like that that's in there. So that's that. And then these little guys I got at work on clearance probably about 6 months ago. So you're probably not going to find these at any Hobby Lobby at this point. But I think it's the same as this card organizer that I had got that I turned into something else. But what's cool about these is they come with these little sheets. They actually come with the magnet and the sheet. Like I didn't have to buy this. Well, I did actually buy a couple packs separate, but it comes with like 6 of these. And it's good for die storage, but I'm at a loss as to what to put in it because I'll show you where the rest of my dies are here soon. And I feel like the way that I'm storing them takes up a lot less space than these. So I have a couple that I haven't actually opened yet, but this is what it looked like. And even if I do use these, they could actually still continue to be stored right here in my closet. And then on this side, these albums, some of them are finished albums, and then some up here are new albums that I still need to use. So I have plenty of those. Then behind my closet door, and I usually leave this closet door open most of the time, but I have a little rack I got at IKEA, I think, a few years back. But it's got mostly my extra adhesives, along with these shelves have a lot of extra adhesives. And then I've got pre-printed envelopes, or not envelopes, I'm sorry, cards and card bases. This rack is kind of just my little, I guess, workstation. It just sits next to my table. It's got all my main tools and stuff in it. And then on my table, I'm trying to utilize the space on my table as well. I have my Crazy Creations Write Art alcohol markers there and up here on the windowsill. And these bins, let me tell you about these bins. So these are my re-inkers for the markers. These bins are awesome. I love these. We have these at work. You can find those in Hobby Lobby right now in the spring section. They're stackable clear bins. These are the small ones. And as you can see, disregard the Jelly Bellies right there, people. I'm sure you all have snacks on your tables too. But as you can see, these stack. So again, because I'm always trying to go upward with my storage to make more room, these are perfect. The bottom two are still empty because I'm not really sure what I'm going to put in them yet, but I really love them. And then I got these, you know, the blender brushes from Tailored Expressions on my table, and it's actually clean right now because I just finished making Easter cards and I'm going to start working on scrapbook pages. I always buy these big white sheets of paper from the art department at work whenever they get clearanced out or anything, because I use them as just like a background. I don't want to say a background, but just kind of a workspace. Even though I have a mat under here, I like the plain white because I can kind of see everything better. And if I'm photographing my cards for my Facebook page where I sell them, it's a nice white background. They do get messy and I end up throwing them away. So it's kind of a waste of money to buy them, but I still do anyway. So coming over here, speaking of those, here's a bunch of those kinds of things that I've bought at work. And I've got some 8.5 by 11 cardstock in here, some paper pads that I've gotten from work, more cardstock paper pads. And I use this cube system organization that I got these at Michael's a really, really long time ago. And I know you can get them other places now, but I keep all my scrapbook stuff organized according to themes. Like this one has butterflies and bees and stuff. I have Universal. I'm not going to spend the time to go through every single thing I have, or this video will be hours long and nobody will watch it. So, just kind of a brief overview of all the stuff I have. I got some ink pads. I do have a lot of close to my heart ink pads, and I buy a lot of close to my heart cardstock. I like the colors that they offer. This little guy up here holds a lot of my embossing powders, some of my Nuvo, that wasn't paste, it was mousse, Nuvo mousse, this stuff right here. Some mediums basically for stenciling, because I do like to use stencils. The rest of my wood block stamps that didn't fit in those other things. And this little guy I'd gotten on clearance at work too, and I really like this little thing here. I wish I would have bought two. We had two and I only got one, and then when I decided I liked it and I went back, they were gone. But yeah, this is a lot of brads from Eyelet Outlet. I love these things, and I'm really trying to incorporate them more in my cards because they're just so cute. And more Queen & Company toppings. I told you guys I have a problem, so. And then extra diamond dots. By the way, these, if you haven't been to Hobby Lobby, you may still find some of these in your stores. We clearanced out all of these individual jars, and it's kind of sad. It was kind of cool that we sold them all, but basically, they're great for shaker cards. So if you make shaker cards, you might need those in your life. Washi organization here. This is my organizer. It kind of, the drawer pulls out and slants down. I got these at Michael's a while back. I don't think they have them anymore, but I'm sure you can find something similar. And then I've got my Christmas ones, and I have two smaller ones, so I've got Christmas. This whole thing is Christmas. And then I've got some Halloween, and Halloween's here on the bottom. Just some other random things. So that's that. Down here is my Mosaic Moment grid paper. And what's really sad about that I bought all this over time, they actually came out with a template where you can make your own grid paper from any paper you already have. I'm still going to use this up, but I'm glad they finally came out with something like that, because now I can not buy all this extra paper. But they have these how-to books, pattern books. I'll show you guys real quick in case you're not familiar with it, because again, I really like this system. You have all these different patterns and the dies fit them. Some of the basic shapes you can free cut if you wanted to without buying the dies, but you can go to their website and they have some videos on YouTube too that you can look into. This here is a scrap bin. I go through that every once in a while to keep it low. I've got my Crazy Creations sticker books. I've got a bunch of those. I use those a lot. This is all glitter paper. I got Disney. And you can kind of see what's in here. Now here's more stackable bins. These are the larger size. So look, I still have one empty. But this is holding all my stencil pastes and stuff in here. I also have stencil supplies in here. These little teal books actually hold the 6x6 stencils. And I've got some more stencil stuff. I mean, kind of random stuff here and there. But that's all that. And then this little thing, that's my cat in the background. This little thing, this rack, I feel like I got it at like a Home Goods, a TJ Maxx or something like that at some point. I love this thing. And this is how I store my cleaning company sets. These Sizzix envelopes, I buy magnetic vent covers and I trim them to size. There's usually about 2 magnetic vent cover or magnet sheets, we'll call them, in each one of these. But this is the best way I found. I mean, I have over 100 cleaning company shaker card sets. So this takes up very little space. All it's taking up is this top shelf and the next shelf. And I actually could have combined some of it up top. I just wanted to spread it out a little bit. This shelf just has some of my Crazy Creations stuff that I bought. And the bottom has my Queen & Company foam refills for the big shaped cards. Like this one's a cupcake shaped card or, you know, whatever like that. So I found this to be the best way to store like whole sets of stuff. It just takes up such little amount of space. In here, this is one of my boards with dies. These are my basic shapes. And then I have 2 shelves, kind of like the one in my closet, which I just haven't filled with anything yet. I told my husband I wasn't sure if I was going to keep them or return them. And he had already went ahead and put them up because I really don't want to separate all my shaker toppings. I kind of like them all being in that one area. So I don't know if I want to bring any out here in this little, this is kind of like a little add-on room. It was some little patio thing, but we converted it. But it's kind of my cat room. So it's got my cat trees, seasonal decor, and then this one table has my scrapbook stuff, and I have some stuff under it. Card kits that need to be done, photo boxes with the cards that I sell. All these cards up top are cards that I've made that I need to put on my Facebook page for sale. And then my Tim Holtz inks, the Distress Oxides. So back inside the room itself, I don't want to take up that whole room. I like my cats having a space, and they actually do use those cat trees. So this shelf has the rest of my Queen & Company foam refills with fall and Christmas, I believe, are in there. And then I have these plastic totes that have my embellishments for different themes. So I don't keep the embellishments with the paper anymore. I used to, but my paper things bulge out and get all thick. I got these little paper bins on scrapbook.com to hold some of my food and drinks, outdoor and animal paper pads, like the little 6x6 ones. Again, I have too many of the paper pads. I need to stop buying stuff, I guess, but we'll see if that happens. Then these are like just blank, like 6x6, you know, colored paper, cardstock, pads of paper I got from work, like that kind of stuff. Up here has my Queen & Company stamps. These are the stamps that go with the kits that I showed you guys. So I just keep the stamp sets all together, the dies together, the paper with the paper. So, I mean, I separate my stuff. And I got some stickles, some more theme stuff. And then over here is mostly just paper and stuff. Like these are just all my themes of my paper. And then I have some stamps up here in these bins. I have some cardstock in my racks over here. And then Queen & Company has sets of dies called foundation dies. And there's like 20 some sets now, I think. I started putting them up on the wall. Now as they make more, I'm going to have to put the rest somewhere else because I really don't want to put anything higher up because I won't be able to reach it. But these are just all my foundation sets, which if you haven't seen these things, they make card making so easy. They've got 100 and some card sketches that they tell you what dyes they used, what number they came from, and you can just slap a card together in minutes. It's awesome. So these are my Queen & Company foundations. My other dyes that I mentioned earlier that are not like that, like not a company or a theme, I put in these things. I'm sure you guys have seen these before. They're the art bins, and they have the little magnetic sheets. So this is where my extra dyes are. And that's why I said earlier when I was looking at those little bins, those take up a lot more space than this little guy. This little guy fits right in here. So I'm not sure what I'm putting in those bins with the magnetic sheets with the sleeves, but I love the concept. Then these little things here, these are just some stamps. This is stuff's kind of random. It's just stuff I've gotten recently that I want to try to use. And then these are all like Christmas stamps, I believe. Like this is all Christmas stamps. And this isn't even all my Christmas stamps. The rest of them are in this big tub. But again, my stuff's kind of everywhere because I don't have enough room to store it all together. This has my embossing folders. And then these carts, I'm sure you guys have seen these. Michael sells these. Even at work, we have a version of this right now with the spring collection. This is all my bling. So all my pink is in here. Again, a lot of Queen & Company. And so when I want something, I took the stops off to be able to, usually there's stops that the drawers don't come out all the way. I made it so mine can. So if I just want the red bling, I can pull this out and carry it over to my workspace without rolling the whole card over there. Then this is the best thing I think I've done lately. So I have a ton of Christmas embellishments. Maybe some of you can relate. But I found having it in the storage containers like I have on the shelf over here with the other theme stuff, I was not using it all. It was hard to find stuff. I had to sift through it. It just wasn't working out well for me. So I decided to do this because it works so well with the bling. So my stuff's kind of organized. Like all of the trees are in one, just so I can find what I'm looking for. Gingerbread and candy, poinsettias and ornaments, and so on and so forth. But I'm going to try this out this Christmas and see if I actually end up using more Christmas embellishments than I have in years past. I actually did this after Christmas, so I didn't get a chance to try out the system. But I love the concept of it. So if I'm wanting Christmas lights, I can just take this. I'm like, oh, they're all right here. And I'd be good to go. Then up on the table are these sticker stadiums. I think they call these sticker stadiums. We had these at work, and again, we clearanced them out a while back, but I think you can find these on Amazon or anywhere. I love these things. They can just sit on my table. And what I like about having them here is that they are front and center to when I'm working on stuff. So I remember to use stuff. I've actually used more of it this way, which is good. So it's just, you know, organizing themes, whatever I have. So makes it a little easier. And then I've also got my Brother Scan & Cut on the table here, along with my Sizzix die cutter. So that's a pretty brief overview of my room. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Here's another scan around. But that's just kind of how I've stored some stuff lately. And again, it changes over time, but right now this is what works. But if you guys have any suggestions, I'm open to them. Thanks for watching. Bye.